Oh my gosh. Rest in peace, Aileen Galathinius. She would have loved Taylor Swift. Hi, my name is Michelle. Today we're going to be talking about Throne of Glass, my beloved series. This is a just like Q&A chatty video in which I just talk about general thoughts about Throne of Glass. I asked you guys to ask me questions in the last couple Throne of Glass recap series. And so some of these questions are from there. Some of these questions are just questions I wanted to talk about. And we're also going to be doing a character ranking. That's where we're going to start, is we're going to do a like full character ranking with like as many characters as I could think of. I just like listed them off the top of my head. And so we're going to jump into that first. I'll timestamp at the bottom. Character ranking first, Q&A a second. Obviously, this is going to have full spoilers for the entire Throne of Glass series. I might be talking about some other Sarah J. Maas series, but I will give you plenty of warning if I'm going to do anything spoilery. So don't even worry about it. Let's jump into my character ranking. I'm going to be looking at my computers right below you. So, you're going to see it. So let's go through our tiers super quick. They're pretty self-explanatory. First, top tier. I'd die for them because I would truly die for some of these characters. Number 2 is invited to the party. Like, obviously, they're invited to the party. And then we have, okay. Like, when I go, okay, after someone says something and like, they didn't need to, like, it wasn't necessary. Like, they didn't need to say it, but here they are saying it anyway. Like, it is mostly neutral. Okay, straight to jail means I'm sending you straight to jail. And then dark alley means I'm literally going to fight you in a dark alley. If you were real, if I met you in real life, I would fight you in a dark alley. And if you watch my Throne of Glass recaps, pretty much any of them, you'll know who's going to this tier right away. Okay, first of all, we have our beloved girly. Don't get it twisted. This girl is straight to I died for them. I would die for her any day of the week. I would die for her just for fun. Like, I love her so much. Okay, next we have Captain Rolfe. Captain Rolfe, I feel like, is more beloved by others than by me. I'm going to put him here. Okay. Like, I don't dislike him. And honestly, his island was the home of many an excellent scene. And we do have to thank him for that. But in the end, he is kind of annoying. He only is really helpful when it serves him. So, unfortunately, he's going to have to go to, okay, Dorian. I would die for Dory. I would. I love him. Is everyone going to just be in this top tier? Maybe. Okay, fight me. We'll sort them in like order. I'll rank them for you guys. Don't even worry. Okay, Braxy, my literal beloved. Abraxas is my favorite character in the series. He is. I love him so much. He's a baby angel sent from heaven above. We are not worthy of him. If there's a tier above I'd die for him, I would put him there. Manon. Oh, come on up, girly. In front of Dorian, obviously. Don't be disgusting. Depending on the day, Aelin or Manon could be in first place. If we're not counting Abraxas, if we're only counting people, depending on the day. Astrid is, of course, invited to the party. I love her so much. I wish I could put her in the I die for them tier, but I just feel like I don't know enough about her. As a side, she is really truly a secondary character, and despite my love for her, my appreciation for her, she's gonna have to go and invited to the party. Mr. Kale is going to be with her. I know I worked for Kale, okay? I did PR for Kale. I was clocking in, punching my little time card, okay? And I do love and adore Kale, and I will fight people who say Kale's stupid. I'll fight him. But, I wouldn't die for him. I will put him above Astrid, though. I think that's fair. Just because we know him a little better. Because he is my dude. Elena. Elena's going straight to jail, obviously. If you don't put Elena in a straight to jail category, I needed to have a conversation with you because that woman is nefarious. Truly a heinous woman. I should beat her up in a dark alleyway, but at least she tried, In the end, she did kind of try to help out. Was it helpful at all? No. She really didn't do much helpful. I guess she helped a little in Throne of Glass, the actual first book, but no. Nehemia invited to the party. She can come to the party. She's kind of at the bottom of the list. I feel like we didn't get a ton of time to know Nehemia. Yeah. Okay. Duke Parrington and Erewhon. He can go straight to jail. Straight to jail with Elena. He's a villain. He's a good villain. I have no qualms with him as a villain. But, I don't need him at my party for certain. And he didn't really do anything helpful. And he wasn't even really that fun. So, unfortunately, he's going straight to jail. Kaltain. Okay. Kaltain is also going in the okay tier. Here's why. calm down, okay? I love Caltaine. I think Caltaine does so much good for the series in the end, but in the first books when she's in them, she is kind of the worst and it's kind of annoying. She does redeem herself so fully, so completely, but I just don't think I want her at the party. Don't be mad. Don't be mad, Caltaine. Also, don't tell her that she's not invited. She can go above Rolf, though. I think that's fair. Arabin Hamill. Yeah. Yes. Thinking about Arabin Hamill makes me, like, angry in a way that shouldn't be possible with fiction. Like, I understand this man is not real. I understand that he's a fictional character. I want to fight him so badly. I want to punch him so square in the nose. But I shan't. Sam Cortland. Oh, my beloved sweet baby angel. I would die for him. I would die for Dorian. Oh, if I had to choose between Dorian and Sam, I would choose Dorian, unfortunately, for me. Just because we didn't have enough time with Sam. Oh, I think about Sam all the time. What a sweet baby. What an angel. I can't believe Arabin killed him. I'm gonna go fight Arabin again. Okay. I can't think about it too long. Lysandra. Ew, Dorian, get behind her. Whoa. Lysandra, my beloved, my angel. She's so gorgeous, so amazing, so sweet, so fantastico. I love her so much. She's so cool. Her growth from, like, when we first meet her in Assassin's Blade to where she ends up in Kingdom of Ash and her friendship with Aelin is just fantastic. I love it so much. Murtagh, okay. Okay. He's a character I forget about always. Like, what does he actually do? He just, like, they need him around, I guess, for stuff. Evangeline, also, okay. Like, I love the idea of Evangeline. Evangeline's so sweet, so fun, so cute. I love her relationship with Lysandra. But, like, do we know anything about the girly? Obviously, she can go up here. Her and Caltaine could hang out when they're not invited to the party. Sorry, Adian. Oh. Bestie Gal's gonna hang out with these guys. Not invited. Sorry, Adian. I wish you the best. But unfortunately, you were too annoying to get an invite to the party. Yeah. Kale got invited to the party and you didn't. And I'm sorry for that. I am, but, like, you could have done better. Some of the ways you treated Lysandra, abhorrent. I will not forget about it. Prince Galen with his big head. This is the choice I made that I regret the most. Throne of Glass recap series is this big-headed baby. And I really only put him on this list because he's a big-headed baby. And he doesn't do anything, so he can also come to the okay tier. Like, okay. I have no real thoughts on him. Ilias, on the other hand, I liked. He can come to the party. You know what? He didn't spend a lot of time on page, but when he was on page, I liked his vibe. I did. Okay, Miss Ansel. I think this might surprise people, but I'm gonna put Ansel. Ansel almost got to I'd die for her. I wouldn't die for her. I don't know her well enough, but she's going up right here above Astrid. Controversial. Above Astrid, below Kale, in terms of her character. I love Ansel so much. I think she's such an interesting character. I wish we got more time with her because I really do find her quite fascinating. I find her story quite fascinating. Hussar. Oh my gosh. Hey, bestie, you better stay out of dark alleys. I'm coming for you. She's a mean lady. And I know I've made my platform supporting mean women. And as we enter into our ACOTAR era in March, we will be talking about Nesta Archeron, my beloved mean lady. Manon is also a mean lady. Like, I typically like a mean lady, but she's just, like, mean for no reason. Or at least not a reason we know. Okay? I'm always open to learning more and changing my opinion. But for now, I'm going to beat her up. Unlike Miss Irene, who gets to come up here above Dorian. Sorry, girls first. Ladies first, obviously. Right below Lysandra. Fenris, he can obviously come to the party. Fenris is going to go right in front of Astrid. You know what? He can go in front of Ansel as well. He can go in front of Ansel. He's a sweet boy. He's not my favorite. I wouldn't die for him. I know some people would. Some people really ride for Fenris. And obviously I like him. He's invited to the party. But I just, like, didn't have, like, the level of emotional attachment to Fenris that would make me want to, like, die for him. You know? And that's okay. We can't die for everyone. Nezarin. Oh. I put her in the okay tier because I kind of find her really so boring. Sorry. Please don't tell her. Please don't tell anybody in that tier that I put him there. It's gonna hurt their feeling. Behind Ilias? He was on that page for like a second, but his vibe was so fun. I want him at the party. She's just so boring. I'm sorry. I really feel bad for this. I wish I liked her more. And I think when I talked about her in the recaps, I tried to make it seem like I liked her more than I actually do. I just find her incredibly boring. Sartak. He's fine. I don't know. Why did I put some of these people on here? Sartak, you can hang out above Adian, below Evangeline. I have no big thoughts. Hafitza. I actually love Hafitza. Hafitza can come to the party. Hafitza's vibe, excellent. Top tier. She's my favorite person from the Southern Continent. I mean, not counting Irene, obviously. Because Irene is not from the Southern Continent. She's from Fenharrow. She just, like, was in the Southern Continent when we got there. The King of Ardelaine. This is a tricky one. Because obviously he's the enemy for most of the book. But then in the end, he does make me cry like a baby because he remembered his own name once when he beheld his son. And you know what? He was like doing the best he could with the tools he was given. Unfortunately, he did damn the whole continent to like years and years of like dark like genocide essentially. So I'm gonna have to unfortunately put you straight to jail. Like sometimes you have to go to jail for crimes even if you are repentant for them, you know? Like sometimes you still have to deal with the consequences of your actions. Okay. Glennis. Glennis is a cool grandma. She's a cool grandma. Unfortunately, she's not cool enough to come to the party. She's going to be down here, again, above Adian. And Bronwyn, I don't know why I put them separately. To be honest, I don't have that many thoughts about them. I feel like we didn't actually spend a ton of time with the Koshin witches. And I didn't put Grandmother Blackbeak on here, which was stupid of me. Grandma Blackbeak would go straight to jail. She might go in a dark alley, but I'm actually scared of her. I'm more scared of her than I am of Arabin or Hussar. I know she's not on the list, but like trust me, that's where I would put her. Just imagine her little picture getting slotted in right at the back of this tier. Lord Darrow. Unfortunately, even though, again, he had a little redemption arc, very sweet, very cute, Evangeline changed his heart, get your booty in jail. I'm sorry, anyone who required an 8-year-old child and is like, where were you, Aelin? Where were you when you were 8 years old and your parents got murdered in front of you? Actually, she didn't see her parents get murdered. She just laid down in their blood for a while. Anyone who says that to my beloved Aelin Galathinius goes straight to jail. Murtaugh got out of it because most of the time he was nice. But Uncle Vernon, dark alley. See ya. Punch you square in the nose. Fleetfoot. We've got some pets coming up. Pets. Fleetfoot. People love Fleetfoot. People are obsessed with Fleetfoot. Not me. Straight to jail. Sorry. I find Fleetfoot annoying. He's like an obnoxious inclusion. He can never actually come anywhere because he's like kind of a useless dog. Oh my gosh, the hateritis for Fleetfoot comes out. I really did find him kind of like an annoyance in the books. I was just speaking my truth. I love dogs in real life, okay? Actually, I don't know if that's true. I love my dogs in real life. I don't always love strange dogs because I'm a little nervous. If your dog is cool, then I like them. But like, if before I know them, a little wary. But that's kind of the same with people. Like, I'm a little wary if I don't know you. If I meet you in real life, a little wary until we are friends. Once we're friends, obviously we're cool. Same thing with dogs. Anyway, Fleetfoot and I feel like never became friends. And so I was just like, oh, he's here again. Hey. Maybe I should put him in okay for that, but I don't want to. I'm going to put him straight in jail because I feel like he never did anything nice for me. Unlike Farasha, the queenie, Farasha is invited to the party. That would be Kale's evil horse, Butterfly, that saved Lorcan. She's a queenie, and she gets to come to the party. Unlike Fleetfoot, who I feel just would be annoying. He used to stay home. I feel bad that I put him in jail. Maeve. Okay. She tortured some people, including my beloved Aelin. Okay, she's evil. I get it. She's evil. But also I kind of get it. She was like, oh my gosh, my husband is so boring and he won't let me do anything. I'm going to leave. And she had like the cutie piest little city. She could have made different choices, but I feel like she was so fun. Ugh. People are like, you sent Fleetfoot to jail, but Maeve is invited to the party. Yeah, I stand by it. Bort. Can Bort come to the party? Yeah, she can come to the party. She can come. Karen. Karen obviously gets to go in the Dark Alley category. Dark Alley. Rowan can come to the party. Unfortunately, I wouldn't die for him, like literally at all. Like, not really a question in my mind. I do like Rowan better than Kale. I don't know if that's true. Guys, I feel like that is like sacrilegious. I can't put Kale above Rowan. But I kind of feel like it's true. I'm really speaking my truth to you in this moment. The truth could be different tomorrow, but today my truth is that I like Kale better than Rowan. Gabrielle really, truly could take or leave. You know what? Caltane even gets to go above him. Okay, Gabrielle is such a nice guy. We love Gabrielle and Paige. He's so nice. But again, his vibes are just not invited to the party. And you might be like, I cannot believe you put Maeve above Gabrielle. Yeah, I did. Sorry, he's a little boring. Okay, I don't know why these two are at their end, but they are Miss Elide and Mr. Lorcan. Mr. Lorcan Locken, my beloveds. Would I die for them? I would die for Elide. Obviously, I'm not crazy. Elide, I would put above Dorian. The girls, these are my queenie girls. I love them so much. Lorcan, I'm not dying for Lorcan. Sorry, Lork. I love Lorcan and Elide. Like, I love Lorcan and Elide so much. But, like, Lorcan as an individual character really could take or leave. He can come to the party mostly because Elide's also there. You know? It just seems easier if he's invited if Elide's also there. Okay, so there's my character ranking. And this is, like, truly in order. So my favorite character, Abraxas, obviously. Don't be insane. Then Aelin, Manon, Lysandra, Irene, Elide, Dorian, Sam. And then you can keep reading. That's my truth. And I'm sticking to it. Now we're jumping into the Q&A. Okay, first question is, what books would you recommend after finishing the Throne of Glass series? This is a really hard one for me because Throne of Glass is my favorite series. And so, like, nothing truly tops it. But there's a couple books I can recommend that have, like, similar vibes, flavors, I think. My first one that I would recommend, and the only one that has given me, like, early Throne of Glass, Selena Sarthothian sort of vibes, like, in a true, authentic way. I felt like a lot of books I've read promise this, and I felt that very few have delivered, is Daughter of No World by Carissa Broadbent. It's a trilogy. Our main girlie does give Aelin vibes, like, pretty strongly. My second recommendation would be the Bridge Kingdom series by Danielle Jensen. I combined her first and last name. I have only read the first two books. I know that there's more, but I think they follow different characters, and to be honest, I am not interested. I liked the series a lot. My biggest complaint for it is it's very short. I read both books in a single day. I think, again, we had like a similar sort of flavor as Throne of Glass. It's much less fleshed out. Like I said, I read both books in a day, so they're short, and you get much less like world building because you can't in a book series that short, and it's a much smaller cast of characters. But I really did enjoy it. Again, not going to give you the same Throne of Glass vibe, but like good for the Throne of Glass hangover. And then a book series that I think is as good, if not like better than Throne of Glass, and that is the Ember and the Ashes series by Saba Tahir. The series is YA. It has some of the most well done character work that I've ever seen. The characters are all so complex, both like the protagonists that we're following, but also like the villains. And that's one of my favorite parts of Throne of Glass, is that like Maeve as a character is so complex and interesting, and I find the villain characters in the Ember and the Ashes series to be just so interesting and morally gray in a way that feels very real and truthful, and like just so smart. Like, Saboteur is absolutely brilliant. Another series that does give some Throne of Glass vibe, that is the Song of Ice and Fire Game of Thrones series from George R.R. Martin. Has like a very similar writing style. Stylistically, I think reads very similar to Sarah J. Maas to me in terms of like just like truly word choice. It is a much wider world than Throne of Glass. Like, we're following like a lot of characters. It is much darker than Throne of Glass in terms of things. I got much less emotionally attached to the characters, just because like the world is like so bleak and we're not spending as much time with the characters as like individuals and emotionally fleshing them out, it is also like pretty violent in a lot of different ways. So like be aware of that. But like obviously it's a very excellent series. It is incomplete. Will George R. R. Martin ever complete it? Probably not. The audiobooks are stunning. If you're going to do the Game of Thrones series, I would highly, highly recommend the audiobooks. I love the narrator. That's how I have done them, mostly primarily. And cannot recommend the narrators of these books enough. Like, they're so fantastic. So that's my recommendations for books to read after Throne of Glass. If you could only keep one book from the Throne of Glass series, which would it be and why? Okay, this question I'm going to answer in two different ways, because I think the first thing that maybe they're trying to ask with this question, or this question's trying to ask, is which is my favorite book, which is very clearly Queen of Shadows. But I think Queen of Shadows does not work without Heir of Fire. I think Heir of Fire works the best as a standalone, and sometimes I wish you could just start with Heir of Fire as a book series. I have sometimes a hard time recommending the Throne of Glass series to people because I do feel like Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight feel very, very YA, and like they were YA books. But like most of my peers obviously are not young adults. They're adults. And I'm like, well, like Throne of Glass will like get you, but you won't be like fully in it until Heir of Fire. Like I feel like Heir of Fire is really the turning point where it goes from like a YA series to like a more adult, but I mean adult like in terms of like thematically, not in terms of content. Anyway, that would be my thoughts. Heir of Fire, I think, is the best standalone if you had to take away the rest of the series, but Queen of Shadows is actually my favorite. What's your dream cast for Throne of Glass adaptation? Okay, as we know, I need to see the series with my eyeballs. Please, please, please. Please, 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 in the words of Sabrina Carpenter, I need to see this series with my eyeballs. Oh my gosh, I need it so badly. Who has the rights right now? Somebody is holding on to those rights, and I'm going to go to their house and I'm going to have a chat with them. Like, we need to see it. I can offer you nothing except I will promise that I will watch every single episode. You could put this on the most obscure streamer and I will buy a year and I will watch every episode. Like, I just need to see it with my eyeballs. That being said, I don't have like a lot of very specific casting. I am not someone who's like great at fan casting in terms of characters, but I do have like my perfect Aelin Galathynius. And my perfect Aelin Galathynius is the woman who plays the young blonde woman on House of Dragon. I'm like forgetting her name, both the actress and the character. But there was this clip from season 1 of House of the Dragon of this young blonde woman seeing a white stag when she's like out on a hunt. And I saw it on TikTok. And people were being like, oh my gosh, this is so Throne of Glass coded. I had never read Game of Thrones. I had never seen an episode of Game of Thrones. I had never had a desire to see Game of Thrones. I saw that clip and I said, that's actually Throne of Glass. And I read the Game of Thrones series, watched the House of Dragon series for that one clip. And I do think she'd be just like she is my perfect Aelin. What Taylor Swift album would be each character's favorite? Okay, I'm so happy you asked. I think I suggested this as a question, but someone did truly ask it, and I'm ready to talk to you about it. I'm a huge Swiftie, if you don't know, and I believe in my heart of hearts that Aelin Galathynius would be as well. I have this vision in my mind's eye of Aelin and Lysandra going to the Eras tour, and I got to see Eras tour twice. And when I went and saw it in Nashville, one of our surprise songs was Would've, Could've, Should've. And I think there would be something incredibly healing for both of those girls to be able to scream, give me back my girlhood. It was mine first in a stadium with a bunch of other women. I think that would heal something inside of Aelin Galathynius's and Lysandra's inner child. I also think they need to see it with the Tortured Poets department, obviously, because I do think they also need Smallest Man Who Ever Lived. I do think it would just like truly heal something in them. I like wish they were real so they could go to the Eras tour. I believe Aelin would be the Swiftiest of Swifties. I think she would really love Tortured Poets, obviously. I think Tortured Poets feels like strangely autobiographical for Miss Aelin Galathynius, Who's Afraid of Little Old Me, The Bolter, The Albatross. Like, this girl has an album written about her. And I think Aelin would obviously recognize that. I also think, like, back in her Assassin days, like, when she was, like, coming back post Salt Mines, she would love herself a bit of Reputation. She would just love it. She would love it. Oh my gosh. Rest in peace, Aelin Galathynius. She would have loved Taylor Swift. Anyway, let's go through the rest of the characters. Kale, I think, would love Midnights. He's a guy who really likes to ruminate. And Midnights is all about rumination. You know, it's about sleepless nights and deepest regrets. And Kale has a lot of regrets and a lot of sleepless nights, I believe. Dorian is a lover boy. He loves Lover. I also think the boys would love Folklore and Evermore. Like, I think the boys would, like, really vibe with Folklore and Evermore. Dorian is a lover boy, but he's also a reader. And so I really think he would love the Folklorian ones. That would be a jam for him. Lysandra is a 1989 girl. Absolutely. She loves 1989. Manon, I hate to say it, but Manon is not a Swiftie. No, ma'am. People probably would call Manon, like, obviously Reputation girl. Reputation would make her giggle. Okay? Manon would listen to vigilante shit and be like, her idea of being a vigilante is just reporting people to the proper authorities. I don't think so. Like, she would think it was silly, goofy, funny that Taylor Swift thought she was, like, being a bad girl in any capacity. Any capacity. She would, like, respect it. She's not going to be rude about that fact that she's not a Swiftie. But, like, Manon is just not a Swiftie. I don't think she has a favorite Taylor Swift album. I do think at some point a lead would pull her aside and be like, there's this song that I really think you'd appreciate. And I think a lead would play her Bigger Than the Whole Sky and talk about how Bigger Than the Whole Sky reminds her of the witches. And I do think that would upset Manon, but then she would go and cry about it in her room later by herself. A lead would be a fearless girl. Oh, she would be such a fearless girl. She would love Fearless. Love Story? 15? She would love it. Lorcan's favorite is whatever a lead's favorite is. Period. I also think he would love Reputation, but like the softer side. Like, he loves Delicate. He loves Gorgeous. He loves it. Irene's is obviously Speak Now. I feel like if Taylor Swift existed in our lane, she would have been listening to, like, Speak Now, the whole album, as she made her way to, like, the Southern Continent. I feel like she would be listening to it on repeat. Rowan likes 1989. He likes the birds imagery, obviously. But I think he loves Reputation. I think the cadre loves Reputation. Putting it out there. The cadre loves Reputation. I mean, who wouldn't? Give us Reputation Taylor's version, please, Taylor. If you could spend one day with any character from the series, who would it be and what would you do? Okay. I would obviously spend the day with Aelin. Hopefully, I'd get to bring Lysandra and a lead along too. And we would obviously go to the mall. And just go shopping. Like a gorgeous mall. Not like the local mall, but like a luxury mall. Like, we're going to Louis Vuitton and Chanel. And we're just having a fun time. I think I would love to go shopping with Aelin and Lysandra and a lead. We would invite Manon. Of course she could be invited, but I don't think she'd want to come. Don't think she'd be into it, but I would invite her, obviously. Ooh, if you could have any spin-off or prequel, what would you want? Okay. Guys, I have something very specific in mind for this, and I don't think it's something I've heard talked about very much, but I, like, think it would be the best option. I'm putting it out there. Sarah, if you're listening, Sarah, if you're listening, Sarah, please. I think it would be amazing to get an Ansel book. And you're like, I don't want that. No, you don't. You do want that. Let me tell you the Ansel book story. So we would start with Ansel before, like, Assassin's Blade. We would start with Ansel when she was a child and she watched her kingdom get taken over by the witches. And we would then follow her as she went to the Red Desert Assassins and how as she met Selena and then got called upon by Selena years later to, or I guess not years later, like a year later, to come help her. And we know that Ansel, like, found out that Selena was in the salt mines and she was, like, headed to go get her out. I, like, want to hear about that. I want to hear about Ansel, like, taking over Melisandre's army. Like, I want to hear Ansel's side of the story. We don't get Ansel's perspective. And I think Ansel, like, really has a story that is, like, quite parallel to Aelin's in a lot of ways, where it's like this princess whose kingdom has been stolen out from under her feet. And Kingdom of Ash ends with Ansel and the witches going back to the Waste to, like, set up a kingdom together. Like, Ansel is getting Briarcliff. Well, she already has Briarcliff, but, like, dealing with, like, Briarcliff and the witches. And I really would like to see those politics. And I also think that if we get that, we get Manon's story. I really would like to see what happens to Manon after Kingdom of Ash, because we just leave her in the lowest place. Like, Manon is just at rock bottom when we leave her in Kingdom of Ash, and just, like, so devastated. And I would love to see Manon. I would love to see Manon in the years after this, as she, like, heals from the loss of the 13 and, like, finds whatever life comes for her next, and, like, the witch kingdoms come to fruition under her as queen, with the, like, the Crocians and the Iron Teeth, like, living together. I just think that would be really beautiful. I think Ansel's story would be, like, a really, really, really gorgeous one. I would literally read anything Sarah J. Maas wrote in this world, but there are a few things I would want less than others. I will tell you, I really can't, I don't want, and like, again, I will read anything and will be convinced to love anything. So don't take this me being a whiner right now. If she announces next week that she's doing one of these two ideas, I'll be reading it and loving it. One, I don't want a children's book. By children's book, I mean like a book about their children. I like do not want the story of like Aelin and Rowan's kid. I don't care. I don't know you. Get out of here. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people love like telling tales, like making up fan fiction about Rowan and Aelin's kid, and I just don't care about them. I don't know them, and I don't care about them. I have really no desire to see Aelin as a mother. Like, I know she's gonna have kids because obviously we saw that premonition, and I love that for her. It's just not something I need to see. Another thing I really don't want, and unfortunately I do think if Sarah was to write in the Throne of Glass world again, I do think this is what we would see, and that's a Southern Continent book, and I just like care significantly less about the Southern Continent than I do about the Northern Continent. Especially if Irene and Kaelin aren't there. We're just gonna follow Nezrin around? Nezrin's kind of boring. Like, bless her sweet little heart. She's kind of boring. I don't know if I want to see her, talk to her. I do love Bort, though. Again, I will be the first in line pre-ordering that book the moment it is announced, but I would rather not get those. I want an Ansel book. That's my request. My most controversial Throne of Glass opinion. I have talked about it. My most controversial Throne of Glass opinion is that Manon and Dorian are not endgame. I think they maybe hook up a couple more times post Kingdom of Ash, and then they like never speak to each other again. Like, Dorian wants to be a wife guy. Like, that's his destiny, his calling. He wants to be obsessed with his wife, and his wife needs to live with him in his castle. Like, obviously he has a kingdom to rule, and it is insane to me that people are asking Manon to give up her kingdom, her queendom, to go live with him. Disgusting. Absolutely not. And they live too far apart. You can't do long distance when you don't have like any technology. And there's no end. It's not like they would do long distance for like 5 years and then Manon could like leave, or Dorian could like leave. Like, they have to be doing long distance forever. I just don't think that'll work for them. And I think if you suggest it and you say that Manon should leave the witches, absolutely not. I also think Manon is going to be substantially changed post losing the 13. I don't think she is the same girl, and I don't think the same thing she wanted when she was with Dorian apply. I think perhaps if the 13 hadn't died in Kingdom of Ash, like, that could have worked, but I truly don't think Manon is the same girl. I don't think you could come back from a loss as substantial as that and be unchanged. And I think she needs someone. I think she needs someone in like a very real capacity, and Dorian needs to go back to Rifthold. I think they both need to be in separate places right now. So unfortunately, I don't think they will be together. Also, I don't think this is controversial, but I do hate that Aelin lost her powers at the end of Kingdom of Ash. I think it's really upsetting. I think it sucks. I think it sucks. I think it's stupid. Okay, great. Last question. Do you have any favorite fan theories about Throne of Glass? Okay. Guys, I don't have a ton of them because I'm kind of weird about fan theories because I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes they make me feel weird. I'm like, you guys are going to spoil the book. Like, they kind of feel like spoilers sometimes, even though obviously they're just like guessing. And I don't have problems with like myself coming up with theories. Like, that's fine. But like the ones who get like really in depth, I'm like, no. I'll be there when she tells us. Like, she can tell us later. That being said, I do have some, and they do all involve kind of like some crossover sort of things. So if you have not finished the Court of Thorns and Roses series or Crescent City, so if you're not like caught up with everything that Sarah J. Maas has out as of the beginning of 2025, you should probably leave now, because I'm going to start talking about those series, and I'm going to spoil things that happen in those series and potential things that might connect. Okay. Bye. Okay, for the rest of y'all. Here's why I really don't like fan theories. Okay, here's the truth. The truth of it is I saw so many gorgeous, delightful, delicious little fan moments, theories, I guess. They're not less theories, but just like little moments that people were excited for in House of Flame of Shadow when Aelin arrived. And I was so excited to see Aelin in House of Flame of Shadow. I was so excited. That was the thing I was most excited for. There was this one clip from TikTok in which it was like Aelin just like walking in. You could hear the sound of her boots and then everyone looking up. I like was anticipating her and Rhys going head to head. I was like, there was a gorgeous piece of fan art that was like her and Rowan in the like ACOTAR style like fighting leathers with the like siphon jewels all over them. Oh my gosh, I was so excited. And then we didn't get her. We didn't get anyone from Throne of Glass. disgusting. And I was horrified. It really upset me. It like was really upsetting. I was like very disappointed. And it like was 100% my own fault. Like this was nothing that Sarah said that was going to happen. But I was like really disappointed, and I really think it affected my enjoyment of House of Flame and Shadows. And from then on I said, okay, we need to be careful with our fan theories because obviously we can't handle them. You know, it's like when I was like really emotionally distraught when it turned out Woodvale wasn't a real album that was coming out. Woodvale, for those of you who are not chronically online Swifties, is an album that a bunch of people thought was going to be the third album after Folklore and Evermore. And there was like a pretty substantial like fan theory around a date, and I believe April 2021, that everyone thought it was going to come out, but there was no Woodvale. It never came out. It wasn't a real album. Everyone just made it up. That like really upset me. And sometimes that's just silly. I like can't let myself be upset by things, like disappointed by things that no one ever told me were going to happen, you know? So I'm careful with my fan theories. But here are some ones that I do like. I do think Rune, Dorian, and Rhys are all related, pretty obviously. I don't love the theory that like Rhys is Dorian's child or that Rune is Dorian's child. No. I want them all to be the same age. I don't like the idea of them like being children of each other. In my head, they're all the same age. They're all in the perpetual, like, age that I am. They're just, like, young adults. And I think that makes sense because Rune is, like, 300 and Rhys is, like, 500. And, like, Dorian is, like, actually 25. And so, like, I just feel like they're all in, like, this perpetual young adult age. So they can't have children that are also young adult age. A fan theory that did not happen, but could happen still. Maybe it could come back. Maybe there'll be another Crescent City book and it'll happen in it. I read a fan theory where they thought that Bryce was going to find some way to give Nesta and Aelin their powers back. And I said, yeah, obviously that's going to happen because that's the smartest thing anyone's ever thought of. Bryce is going to figure out a way to give them their powers back. Obviously. Nesta and Aelin both had their powers robbed from them. Stop taking people's powers away. And I thought Bryce was going to get them back for the girls. Unfortunately, that did not happen. Upsetting. And a real fan theory that I love is that, like, the Tor Sesame library is Jezebel's library in Crescent City. I don't know. I feel like something's happening with that library. I feel like I didn't get enough answers in that library in Crescent City. I know we're not talking about Crescent City here, but, like, I want to know more about that library. I still have questions. Okay. That is everything in my Throne of Glass chatty little video. I hope you enjoyed it. I miss Throne of Glass. Sarah, if you're out there, please write me another book. I will read whatever you want to write. You could write about Aelin and Rowan's child going to the Southern Continent, and I would read it. Probably have a great time. Honestly, I would, at this point, take any book news from Sarah J. Maas. When are we getting another book? I think our next book is the next ACOTAR. And I am excited for that. But I would like to know when it's coming so I can, like, plan ahead. Anyway, that's all I have for you. If you haven't heard, if you haven't been watching the Fourth Wing updates, I have announced that my next big book update, my next big book recap series will be ACOTAR, and that will be coming sometime in March. I'm just taking a little time off to work on some author stuff. So, would love to have you on that one when we get there. Okay. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.